Welcome back to Tyler's Retro Reviews with your host, Tyler Harder, with Judgment Day 2004 review. One of the more famous slash infamous pay-per-views for one match. It's literally, this whole show was a one-match show. This whole pay-per-view was a one-match show. And I'll say that for ... We'll say that for the Bad Blood 04 review next month. Because yes, we're going to do Bad Blood 10-4 as well as the Great American Bash 04. And then afterwards, we're going to stay away from stuff from 20 years ago, okay? Because Vengeance 04, I know Benoit and Triple H had a match on that show, but yeah. But anyways, what is my thoughts on Judgment Day 2004 for the Smack? This is the post WrestleMania pay-per-view for SmackDown. Last month we did Backlash, which was Raw's post WrestleMania pay-per-view, and now we're gonna do Judgment Day, which is SmackDown's post WrestleMania pay-per-view, because we all know Raw did well after WrestleMania. However, SmackDown was really, really chaotic. I mean, Eddie Guerrero... Well, before we get to that, it was a SmackDown branded pay-per-view, of course. May 16th, which is 20 years ago, at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. Eddie Guerrero has no big opponent for this pay-per-view. I mean, Brock Lesnar left. Kurt Angle was... After Paul Heyman was drafted to SmackDown, quotation marks, Kurt Angle took Paul Heyman's spot as SmackDown GM. Because Kurt Angle re-broke his neck, but he will be back by SummerSlam. Big Show took a hiatus after WrestleMania. And Big Show did chokeslam a stunt double who was Kurt Angle off a platform. And why I say a stunt double, because Kurt Angle's not risking having to do a sick bump up there. And now he's in a wheelchair, and he's also the bodyguard named Luther Reigns. Who is he? Never heard of him. The only Reigns I know is Roman Reigns. But yeah. So, who is Eddie Guerrero gonna feud with? Let's take Bradshaw away from the tag team division and make him a main eventer called John Bradshaw Layfield. 20 years later, we'll get to that. Because how did Bradshaw morph away from the APA look into his new persona of the JBL character? Well, it happened after WrestleMania, because Ron Simmons, aka Farouk, was on its last leg as a full-time wrestler, because after WrestleMania, after the APA lost their last chance of the tag team champions against Rikishi and Sky 2. By the way, Rikishi was gone also at this point. A lot of people left WWE around this time period. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Rikishi. I believe Billy Gunn was gone after the show. Many others who are gone around this time. And Farouk was so depressed about Paul Heyman firing him and not Bradshaw. Farouk just left. And I believe the week after, Bradshaw turned himself into John Bradshaw Layfield. Now, the John Layfield is the guy's real name, by the way. So they have his real name, but put the Bradshaw behind it, so it worked, actually. And he went for Eddie Guerrero, and we'll get to that by the main event. So, all that muttering around, let's talk about Judgment Day 2004. It's been 5 minutes. I hadn't talked about the event itself. But here we go. Also, they did the draft. SmackDown pick up guys like, well, they pick up Triple H, but in the words of Paul Heyman, he didn't want to work Tuesdays. If you don't know the reference, One Night Stand 2005, the following year. Spoiler, we're going to do that by June. But in its response, they pick up the Dudley Boys and Booker T, which they both turned heel. They picked up Rob Van Dam. And they also picked up Rene Dupree, which we'll get to him later in this show. Now, the picks they made, Rob Van Dam, the Dudleys, and Booker T, overall, those two were not selected in the draft. From moving over from Raw to SmackDown, you know? But I can understand why they didn't want Triple H on SmackDown, because he's the main heel on Raw. But then again, they did it in 2008, but the less I talk about 2008, the better. Even though it was a little better than 2007, but yeah. But speaking of Rob Van Dam, he and Rey Mysterio defeats the Dudley Boys in a pretty good tag team match. Little ECW flavor to them, and honestly, having Rob Van Dam and the Dudleys on SmackDown was a good addition to them, because Raw got, Shell Benjamin was the only good selection they got. They got guys like Rhino, which no offense to Rhino or to Jerry, but around this time in 2004, they were lower tier guys. With all due respect to those guys, those two. And Booker T also. A pretty good tag team match. An 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. So regardless, so we came up with a really good match, and you're thinking this is gonna be, like Backlash, pretty good. Well, we get to the next two matches after this next match, because before this next match, Kurt Angle informs Tori Wilson if she loses this match, she is fired. And this makes no sense. Really. And she beats Dawn Marie. This was just there. That's the nicest way I have to say it, but there. I give it a 4 out of 10. That's all I have to say. So yeah. Then we get a random match between Mordecai, who he was supposed to have a feud with the Undertaker and Agro rumors, but those rumors went out the window. Squashes Sky Too Hottie in 3 minutes. Why? 1. Then we get for the WWE Tag Team Championships, Charlie Haas and Rigo. Yes, they were the Tag Team Champions. Defeats the random ass team of Billy Gunn and Hardcore Holly. What? Again, correct me if I'm wrong. This is Billy Gunn's last WWE appearance until 2013. I want to say 2013. Regardless, this was a bad tag team match, okay? I give it another 1. Anyways, then we get a match for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship, and there was also a stipulation where I don't think it's there. Chavo Guerrero has had one arm tied behind his back against Jacqueline. This might be her last WWE pay-per-view appearance. Well, match, that is, until the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble. Chavo Guerrero won and won back the Cruiserweight title. This was fine. 5 out of 10, I'll give it. Just a weird match. Then we got the first of the 3 big matches, I want to say, for the WWE United States Championship. I am not referring as a triple main event, okay? That is bullshit, okay? The whole triple main event or double main event is bullshit. There's one match that main events the show, okay? Anyways, for the WWE United States Championship, John Cena defeats Rene Dupree to retain the United States Championship. This is an okay match. But yeah, it was an okay United States Championship match, and John Cena was still over at this point 20 years ago. And funny fact, this event did take place in the Staples Center in Los Angeles. 1 year later, in the same venue, John Cena wins the WWE Championship. Spoiler when we talk about WrestleMania 21 on this channel. Yeah, a 6.5 out of 10. It was an okay match. A decent match. And then we get The Undertaker defeats Booker T. A good match. Another good match. Booker T says he became a star on Raw, and now he's a bigger star on SmackDown, which, yes. And then he messed up with The Undertaker, and he goes one-on-one with The Undertaker. I mean, we're not there yet with Tay Long as SmackDown General Manager, though, but, a good match. Unfortunately, this pairing between Undertaker and Paul Bearer would not last long. We'll talk about that by Great American Bash next month. A 7.5 out of 10. Good match. But then we get to the biggest match on this show. And this is the only reason why people talk about Judgment 8 2004. For the WWE Championship. Now, John Bradshaw Layfield, like I said before, he ditched the APA look, and became, the self-made millionaire, whatever he calls him. And the idea of JBL in a title program with this new character, it will work today. But again, we're in a Triple H regime, though. But here in 2004, it worked. And this program between he and Eddie Guerrero made JBL the big star, okay? Because Brock is gone. Big Show is on hiatus. And Kurt Angle is recovering from neck injury again. And this was the best choice they made. Although this was not as good as their Texas Bull Rope match at the next period we're going to talk about. But this is mostly famous for the deep blade job by Eddie Guerrero. Because when JBL whacked Eddie Guerrero with the chair, Eddie bled like hell. Like, holy shit, he bled like hell. This ends. John Bradshaw Layfield did defeat Eddie Guerrero by disqualification. So as a result of this, the title does not change hands. But this is a bloody fucking match. To a 9 out of 10. Not their best match. Their best one was the Great American Bash or their Steel Cage match on SmackDown. But you know about this. But this is a run-in-the-mill SmackDown pay-per-view. And it's kind of... But at the same time, this was a good show. But mostly for Eddie Guerrero and JBL. But it was not as good as Backlash. So I have to guess it's a 6.5 out of 10. Now, next week, we're going to talk about a King of the Ring event, because King of the Ring is this month, and this tournament sucks. But we're going to talk about one from 1998. Yep, King of the Ring 1998, the famous Hell in a Cell match right here in Pittsburgh. And also, Kane become the first masked wrestler to win the WWE Championship. But that's next week. Tomorrow will be my SmackDown review. I'm not going to mention that, okay? And Saturday will be the second Incredibles movie review, and this Sunday will be Internal Ascendant, the action figure pay-per-view. Goldberg versus The Undertaker, and AJ Styles versus, coincidentally enough, JBL, and other matches I announced on the showdown, though. You will see those. Like this video, comment down below, subscribe to this show right here, and click the notification bell, as well as my main channel. I'm on almost at 200 subscribers also. Goodbye.